Welcome to the Surfing Your Edge podcast. I'm Kristine Goad, your Surfing Your Edge coach, and this is episode 1, which is a little terrifying. But that is a little bit about why we're here, right? We are here to surf your edge. So let me jump right in and talk about what I mean when I say surfing your edge. Your edge is that place where it's the place between where you are and what's next. It's the place where reality meets possibility. It's the place where you are out on the edge of your comfort zone and you're maybe staying there a little longer than you want to because you know that when you do that, your comfort zone expands. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about surfing your edge. And we're not talking about looking cool. We're not talking about, being macho. We're not, none of the bro stuff. This is a bro-free zone. But this is about living your bigger, bolder, badass life. And what I mean by badass, so that you don't run screaming away thinking, oh, that's not me. Badass means being unapologetically yourself. You are here on this planet to become the fullest expression of who you were born to be. When you do that, you don't apologize for yourself. You just keep exploring that edge and growing and leaning in and asking, what more can I do? What more can I contribute? What more joy and peace and love can I experience? So that is the journey you've joined. Aren't you so glad you showed up here? I'm really glad you showed up here. All right. So, as we've said, this is episode 1, and episode 1 is coming much sooner than I thought it would. I basically started this podcast on a whim because a friend of mine came and said, "Hey, it's time." And she had a very short window in which I could jump in and she would support me on this. So I had to jump in before I was ready. And again, that is one of the things we're going to talk about on this podcast. If you wait until you're ready, you've waited too long. So here I am surfing my edge right in front of you, right alongside you, and creating something brand new. Well, it's brand new. It's bigger than what it was before. I have done a Surfing Your Edge live show intermittently on Facebook for many years, and I loved that. But this is me finally stepping into the spotlight and asking for a bigger stage or creating my own bigger stage because you don't have to ask, right? Okay, so part of this came about because someone invited me to step in and I said yes. But it's also the right time for this podcast because the world is in a place of continual flux, and a lot of us are waiting for normal to come back. And I really don't believe normal is coming back. I think the new normal is this continually shifting sands and this game of look over here, no, look over here, oh, look over here. And then you don't ever get to feel like you're safe, right? And I've seen so many beautiful, amazing, talented people who are already struggling with that self-doubt that we all have. They're being impacted even more greatly right now because the world wants them to feel unsafe and unsteady so that the people, the powers that be don't have to worry about you, right? If you're over here spinning in circles, you're not a threat, right? So you just go spin is what they want you to believe. And I'm here to say, no, I'm taking a stand for you. And if there were ever a time for you to become the fullest expression of who you are, this is the time. We aren't waiting for other people to come in and solve the world's problems. We are we are the solution, right? We may not have any clue how we're going to do what we need to do, but the world needs us right now, and we need you. So that's that's why, right? That's why we're surfing our edge now and not waiting for someday, not waiting for things to get back to normal. This is your time. You were born for this, okay? This is okay. I wasn't even planning to go here, but let's just go here. You were born for this. You've spent your entire life becoming who you are, gaining all of your skills and all of your resources and your world perspective, developing your personality and your sense of humor and whatever other life skills you have. They've all been preparing you for this moment. So it is time for you to surf your edge, and I will be a gentle guide alongside you. And I promise I don't have all of the answers, but I love asking the questions and I love talking to people about what their answers might be. So I hope to talk to you at some point and hear what you have to say. Where this comes from. Surfing your edge is, I think I spent a lot of my childhood afraid, right? I wanted to look smart. I wanted to be the good girl. I wanted to stay inside the lines. I wanted to jump through all the hoops that everybody put in front of me. And I was really good at it. I jumped through hoops and jumped through hoops. And at some point, I realized that jumping through hoops just because they were there and somebody else said, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool if you did this?" That wasn't necessarily the life that I was meant to have, right? And I also started to realize as I, graduated from college and started to find my way in the adult world, I started to find that I didn't fit into anybody's boxes, right? I went on a cross-country bike trip when I was 29 years old because I wanted to hear the universe whisper in my ear, this is the box you belong to. When you finish this bike ride in August, you go home and you find this company and you apply for this position, and that is where all of your skills and all of your talents and all of your interests belong. That is the box that was created for you. And I never heard that. I didn't hear that. What I kept hearing was be you. And I'm like, what does that mean? I had no idea what BU meant. And basically I learned that I'd been asking the wrong question for the whole bike ride. I was asking, what box do I belong in rather than how do I live my most authentic life, right? If you ask what box do you belong in and the answer is BU, if you ask, how do I live my most authentic life? And the answer is be you, that makes sense. So I put myself on this path where I was asking the wrong question. And I kept asking that question and I kept asking it and didn't realize for another almost 2 decades that I had been asking the wrong question. And I realized that I have to create my own box, right? There is no box that was created that has all of that will let me be my fullest self. Nobody else has created that box. I have to create my own platform, kind of like I'm doing with this podcast, right? So I'm here to help you also, or invite you. I'm here to invite you to create your own platform and explore what your U-shaped environment feels like. It doesn't have to be a box. And why this matters to me is why it matters to me, not only that I get to be the most full expression of who I came to this planet to be, but why it matters to me that you also get that experience is because I believe the universe is learning about itself through us, right? It created you as a specific lens on the world, on itself. And in order for it to get a full understanding of what it is that is happening in your part of the universe, it needs you to fully express who you are, to fully explore, to be funny or silly, to make mistakes, to learn, to grow, to follow your passion, regardless of what the world seems to be saying. The universe, this is what the universe is asking of you. That, I believe, is your true purpose on this planet is just to be the most you can be, because as you've heard before, there is only one you. There will never be another you. And what you do matters. Who you are matters. What matters to you matters. So that's why this work matters to me, because we need you. The world needs you right now. As we've already discussed, we are in flux. Things are changing all the time, and we need you to help us make the world a better place. One little tiny step at a time in your own little world, right? I'm not asking too much yet. I might ask more later, but for right now, we're just taking tiny little steps forward into what helps you explore your corner of the world a little more fully. So, what I hope for this podcast is that you will come along for some inspiration, maybe some laughs, um, and maybe it will pique your curiosity a little bit and inspire you to try some small experiments. Curiosity and experimentation, again, are part of what we're going to be talking about as this podcast unrolls. So, I'm really hoping that you'll find your place where you are seen, where who you are feels like enough, maybe even more than enough, because that's what's really the truth. And I'm really just hoping that we all kind of make our own little corners of the world more interesting and more welcoming and more solution focused rather than the world is falling apart focused. So, again, I don't know exactly where we're going with this podcast. This is episode number 1, and I have some ideas, but I have no real clue. And okay, again, I wasn't planning to talk about this, but we'll talk about it now. Earlier, when we were talking about don't wait until you're ready, a lot of times we think we have to have the whole map before we can start out on our journey, right? And if you wait until you've got the whole map, how did anybody ever discover the world, right? You've got to go make your own map. If you've got the map in front of you, chances are someone else drew it and it's not really yours. So again, this is me walking my talk and taking that first step without really knowing exactly where I'm going. But I am the phrase that saved me when I was stuck in this rut for 10 years of trying to figure out how to stop being someone else's employee and start doing what I wanted to in the world. One of the things that got me finally unstuck was hearing the phrase, a path is made by walking. So here we are. We're taking that first step, and then we're going to look around and we're going to figure out what the next step is. And then we'll figure out what the next step is. And eventually, we'll be able to turn around behind us and see where we've come and see the path that we've built. But we don't necessarily know where we're going or how we're going to get there. So if that sounds exciting, I hope you will come along with me and play and surf your edge and enjoy the adventure. Thank you for surfing your edge with me on your way to becoming your bigger, bolder, badass self. This week, choose one idea from today's show that made you curious or furious, challenged you, or made you want to try something different. Play with it and see what happens. I've always got a special gift for you, so click the link below to find out what it is and come back next week to catch a brand new wave. Until then, I am wishing you wonder.